What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of Gin and Tonic. I'm your host, as always, John J. II, and it's a Friday, July 16th. Gotta check out the calendar just because these days are flying by. July is flying by. Summer's flying by. It's absolutely crazy out here. So, we got an important topic to talk about today. The mighty, how they fall. We see these guys, see it happen to athletes all over the place, from Tiger Woods to many athletes, and I'm not going to get into names right now that deviate away from the topic, but we're going to talk about the topic at hand. Today we're talking about Richard Sherman, free agent cornerback, played for multiple teams, played for Seattle, played for the 49ers, and we got an article here titled on ESPN's website. This is very, breaking news. It's maybe not super breaking news, but it's fresh. It's fresh enough. So the title is Richard Sherman pleads not guilty to 5 charges, says he is remorseful for his actions. Now let's read this article. We're kind of going to go through this together, and we'll dissect it as we have to. So it starts off, free agent cornerback Richard Sherman, who earlier Friday said he was deeply remorseful for my actions, has pleaded not guilty to 5 misdemeanor charges stemming from his arrest at his in-laws' home northeast of Seattle earlier this week. According to documents filed by the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office on Friday, the charges include 2 domestic violence counts, criminal trespass in the 2nd degree, and malicious mischief in the 3rd degree, along with resisting arrest, driving while under the influence, and reckless endangerment of roadway workers. Wow. Now that's kind of a smorgasbord of charges right there, especially for an athlete that claims to be the best cornerback in the league. Now, I get it. I remember, maybe you guys remember this when he got in a pissing match with Skip Bayless. I think it was Skip and Shannon. Might have been before Skip and Shannon was a thing. But there was a pissing match that took place between Sherman and Bayless, where it kind of got a little bit personal, got a little bit dicey. Stephen A. was even involved in talking to Sherman around this era. This is the Seattle Seahawks era, where Richard Sherman was essentially claiming to be the best cornerback in the league, having a lot of forced fumbles, having crazy amounts of interceptions, different things of that nature. But the mighty, how they fall. I kind of go full circle with that from what I said earlier. So it goes on. Sherman appeared with his wife, Ashley Sherman, at his arraignment before King County District Court Judge Lisa Pasligsati on Friday in Seattle. His next scheduled court date is a pretrial hearing on August 13th. I read recently, this is breaking news, that he was released without bail, and that's the judge's decision. I don't know what's going to happen pending these charges. Whatever's going to happen, there's a lot of satirical posts going around on Twitter regarding this issue, so it's very, very fresh. There's a lot of stuff unfolding as we speak and as we get more into this. He has a quote here, "I am deeply remorseful for my actions on Tuesday night. I behaved in a manner that I am not proud of," Sherman wrote. "I have been dealing with some personal challenges over the last several months, but that is not an excuse for how I acted." Very true. "The importance of mental and emotional health is extremely real, and I vow to get the help that I need. I appreciate all of the people who have reached out in support of me and my family, including our community here in Seattle. I am grateful to have such an amazing wife, family, and support system to lean on during this time." Very professional statement. I got to give it to Richard Sherman. He's kind of a shit talker, kind of, a hothead kind of guy, especially from his early years in the NFL. He's 33 years old now. He's kind of, approaching the back nine. He's reaching the turn in his NFL career. So it is what it is. He's gonna have some bumps in the road, and I understand it. I get it. Okay, professional athletes, they deal with a lot of stress, as do many Americans, and mental health is a very important thing, especially in this common era that we're in. But nevertheless, you still got to restrain yourself, still got to bring yourself back, retract, and once you did something wrong, be able to say it, and then you'll be able to move on from that and hopefully bounce back and be better than you ever were before. We've seen that happen, like I said, with many, many professional athletes that have come before us. Another part of this article that I kind of got a kick out of comes right here. And it kind of goes into some more backstory of what happened. So it says, Sherman was arrested early Wednesday after police said he crashed his car in a construction zone along a busy highway east of Seattle and then tried to break into his in-laws' home in the suburb of Redmond. Wow, that's bold. His father-in-law, Raymond Moss, told officers that he armed himself with a handgun and fired pepper spray at Sherman, tried to bust in the door with his shoulder. Talk about a crazy cops episode. If the cops were on scene for this is incredible. And if he was armed with a handgun, he didn't have to use the pepper spray. He could have shot Richard Sherman just for breaking down his door. After he allegedly resisted arrest, Sherman's mood seemed to lighten once he was in custody and even joked about the form the trooper had used to take him to the ground, according to police reports. Sherman was polite and cooperative at the hospital where he was taken to be treated for a police dog bite he suffered during the altercation with authorities, the report said. Wow, I want to see the body cam video of these officers. Hopefully they have body cams on. If they don't, it is what it is. That's up to the precincts. But I'd like to see that footage. If he's getting bitten by police dogs, if he's breaking down doors, I mean, he's getting a lot done. There's a lot of stuff going on here. You can see why the slew of charges ensued following these actions. And then it goes, Sherman was released without bail after hearing Thursday. As terms of his release, Sherman was ordered not to have contact with his father-in-law, not to use alcohol or non-prescription drugs, and not to possess a weapon. Seems like pretty reasonable request, right? You would think. In February, King County prosecutors and the sheriff obtained an extreme risk protection order for Sherman, which barred him from having guns after a judge determined he posed a danger to himself or others. Details of the case were sealed, and it was not immediately clear whether any weapons had been seized from him. Now, that's information that I didn't know about. I didn't hear about that, until now. Now everything's coming out in the wash. So it is what it is. A lot of stuff is breaking. Basically, Richard Sherman, he's a head case, essentially, and there's a lot of stuff going on in his mental space where, a lot of times we see a lot of professional athletes, celebrities that are going through different things mentally where they can't really deal with them. They don't know how to react to certain situations or react in certain times and points in their life. But it's all about how you bounce back, and as long as you don't, off yourself, you're probably in good shape to make a recovery and make a rebound to whatever problems you found yourself in at whatever time. So we'll see how he comes back from this, if he does, and we'll keep you guys posted as that happens. But that brings us to the end of the show today, guys. Thank you for tuning into this edition of Gin and Tonic. I'm your host, as always, John J. II. Have a great weekend.